Wait, is this working? There we go. Welcome, welcome, friends. Tonight, we're here to ask and answer one simple question. WTF is Inhuman Rescources a literary machination? I am Scuffcat. There are 3 deaths. The first is when the body ceases to function. The second is when the body is consigned to the grave. The third is that moment, sometime in the future, when your name is spoken for the last time. Oh god. Well, that's already existential. What the hell? The phone call. An all too familiar screeching reverberates inside your brain. The noise comes in waves. The pain follows suit. You try your best to ignore both. The mere fact you've acknowledged the awful sound means it's already won. Your phone's alarm is simply much too loud to ignore. Defeated, your eyelids peel apart like sheets of rotting Velcro, blinking back a bad night's blurry haze. You lie in bed, awake, against your consent. The room is almost pitch black, save for the intermittent flashing of your phone's screaming screen. A rancid, if routine, stench of unwashed bedsheets bids you a bittersweet good morning. You're home, for better or worse. Mostly the latter these days. Just once, you wish you'd wake up somewhere else instead. Just once, you wish time would ask permission before racing ahead, but the phone doesn't care about what you want. The insufferable screeching drills deeper into your skull. You throw back your dirty blankets, blindly reaching for the misbegotten beast. The slab of thumb-smudged plastic feels comfortable in your palm. Most call the device ancient, but to you, it's cozy and familiar, like an old, if outdated, friend. No oversized touchscreen, no fancy graphics card for mobile games, no constant access to so-or-so G network. Just a simple tool with a cute antenna that still allows you time to disconnect. You've always appreciated the old and the analog, despite the wider world's obsession with digitized progress. There's sincerity in physicality, a warmth to an object's weight. You'll cling to this relic as long as you can. Sensible upgrades be damned. You have acquired old cell phone. You fiddle with the phone, desperate to stop the alarm. But no matter which button you press, the shrieking will not end. That's because this isn't your alarm at all. It's your ringtone. Squinting in the darkness, you barely make out the caller's ID. It's your aunt/landlady, technically speaking. Hopefully, just your aunt today. The woman is exhausting enough when she isn't asking for rent payments, no matter how overdue they are. Still, should you really ignore a call from the one person still willing to support you between jobs? Oh, what do we do, chat? I'll just accept the call button. Static crackles as your obsolete cell phone struggles to connect. After a sharp click, you mumble a hesitant hello.
Así mi clamo.
Hello there, sweetie. Sorry for calling you out of the blue. I hope I'm not interrupting lunch. The scratchy facsimile of her bombastically condescending voice greets you on the line's other end. No mistaking your dear auntie. But what's this about lunch? You flick on a light and glance towards your microwave's LED clock display. A shameful number stares back from the room's abyss. 1:29 p.m. You wince and make up a half-baked lie, pretending to talk with your mouth full. Your aunt doesn't seem to buy it. Well, I'm sure you're very busy with job applications today, so I'll get straight to the point. Do you have any idea when you'll be able to send me last month's rent? I know money's been tight lately, but it's already the 31st. 1 missed payment is bad enough, but 2? Shit. Landlady it is. You feel yourself deflate, glancing at the tower of rejected job applications standing proud and precarious upon your messy desk. The top sheet almost grazes your modest apartment's ceilings. Your aunt suggested to print each refusal, claiming they'd make your eventual hiring all the more rewarding. You found that harder and harder to believe ever since the letters started to outnumber the dollars in your bank account.
Así mi clamo.
Sweetie, do you have any kind of estimate for me? I would really need an answer today. You have no choice. You swallow your pride, it goes down easy. There isn't much left. For the 100th, 1000th, millionth time, you swear to send your aunt money the second you get a steady paycheck. Until then, there's no way you can conjure cash out of thin air. An uncomfortable silence lingers over your phone's speakers. After several torturous seconds, a disappointed sigh comes through.
Tomoe Saka.
Sweetie, I let you rent that place to give you a second chance, not to keep enabling this shameful do-nothing behavior of yours.
Mena Gomi.
Honestly, I'd be more than willing to forgive delays if I knew you were actually trying, but you can't expect me to believe you've been pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and giving this job hunt all you've got when you've been living in a pigsty for the last year. Pigsty? You deflect the woman's accusations, blabbering in desperate denial. As your eyes drift over the sorry state of your apartment, your ramblings soon turn to tragic silence. You've been immune to the stench for months now, but no amount of time will ever make you blind to the altars of wretchedness your neglect has erected. On the floor, at your desk, in the kitchen, and even in your fridge. Pigsty or not, there's no denying that this whole unemployment business has been taking a serious toll, one that's gone long enough for your aunt's pity to become well-deserved contempt. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? Not your fault those stupid companies won't hire overqualified geniuses. Society's failure to accommodate gifted minds is extensive and well documented. From Bill Gates to Albert Einstein, many talented individuals only achieved renown after escaping the confines of institutional education, and you obviously are destined for similar greatness. So why have you dropped out of college after flunking a bunch of courses? Why have you can't hold a steady job, even if it's the most mindless minimum wage work imaginable? That's not your fault. Oh, for God. It's because the system is broken. Your aunt doesn't sound convinced.
Así mi clamo.
Honey, all those people you mentioned actually achieved something after dropping out. You can't keep choosing to sit idly at life's crossroads, waiting for someone to chauffeur you. Otherwise, people won't think you're a genius. They'll think you're just another quitter with an inflated ego who chooses to run away whenever anything remotely challenging comes their way. You need to eat yourself a big slice of humble pie and get it together. You have acquired college dropout. You brace yourself as the woman prepares to deliver her most frequent, most frustrating spiel, probably repeat it word for word, if ever you were held at gunpoint.
Jimena Gomi.
Remember, sweetie, in our world, choices matter. The big ones and the small ones. We can't always take those decisions back, but we can't control their consequences either, which means we have to choose carefully. You most certainly have not been doing that. But if you have any intention of getting yourself out of this mess, you need to start making the right decisions, and soon. You hang your head and nod, gulping down the last trickle of self-respect. Hearing this speech frequently doesn't make it any easier to hear.
Binge matani.
Anywho, enough of that. The real reason I'm calling is because I might have an opportunity for you. You can tell by her inflection, she means a job opportunity. Your reaction is practically Pavlovian. You salivate at the thought of your unrelenting financial woes finally coming to an end. You grip the cell phone tighter, aching with anticipation.
Penda vatuku.
See, there's this problem employee at our company. He works at one of the local branches, right next to where you live. But the man has a terrible attitude, and is even more terrible when it comes to, well, whatever it is you think we do over there. You picture her limply waving a wrist in some vague, dismissive pattern. More of the highly confidential stuff she can't share, but brags about anyway. Not that you're entirely sure what your aunt actually does for a living to begin with. Something to do with human resources, maybe.
Sigama no suku.
Needless to say, we'll be laying off the little sourpuss as soon as a fitting replacement is found, but we need that replacement fast. The company has a big business deal coming up and we can't afford to be short on staff right now.
Enjokateme.
Luckily, I happen to know a certain someone in dire need of a job. And this position happens to be entry level, no major qualifications needed. It even comes with a sterling letter of recommendation from yours truly. Now this won't be an easy job. Supervisors are very strict and the anxiety has a way of following you home. But as long as you nail the interview, you're basically guaranteed stable income for as long as you need it. Smyrna Corp isn't prone to random layoffs.
Mojata mipe.
So how about it, sweetie? Shall I schedule something for you? High stress environment or not, it beats homelessness by a country mile. You agree to the offer with ravenous insistence. The woman breathes a sigh of relief and lets out a nervous laugh. It almost sounds like she's ecstatic in disbelief.
Shakuni jata.
Thank goodness. You have no idea what it means to hear you say that, dear. You're literally saving my life. You should probably be the one telling her that, but you won't complain about receiving gratitude instead of judgment, for once. Without missing a beat, your aunt hammers at her computer keyboard, drafting you an email. You clamber your way out of bed, tripping over day-old takeout and mounds of dirty underwear as you rush towards your laptop.
Mojata mipe.
I've booked the earliest appointment I could possibly find. You should get an email with the time, address, and job description soon. Be sure to read everything carefully and not be late. Mr. Burgard would skin me alive if I sent him another unpunctual idiot.
Imena gomi.
Oh, and don't let anyone find you're a dropout, okay? Mr. Burgard might get some funny ideas about how to fix you. Fix you? Rather than offer an answer, your aunt whispers farewell.
Shakuni jata.
Good luck, sweetie. I hope you'll forgive me for this someday. What does that mean? Line goes deathly silent, save for a droning dial tone. Get the urge to call her back, but the ding of the invitation appears in your inbox. It catches your attention first. Uh-oh. The interview is today, at 4 p.m. sharp, no less. You curse under your breath, rushing to shower and get dressed. The stack of rejection gets knocked over by your charge, scattered across the room in a whirlwind of standard issue responses. You beg with every fibre of your being not to come home with a new failure on the pile. Chapter complete. Proceed to the waiting room. So this is a very real and existential horror story by the looks of it. Wonderfully written. The music is atmospheric. And the art style is pleasant. I don't dislike this so far. What do you think, chat? The packed, full city transit bus comes to a creaking stop, right in front of an old building you've never seen before. Hey, Rai, how you doing? Shoving your way past crowded commuters, You step onto an empty sidewalk. The vehicle roars away, fading into the misty afternoon and leaving you utterly alone. You briefly wonder if getting off here was a mistake. You review your aunt's documents, poring over the civic number, street name, and postal code as though every character were the cipher in some secret code. By the time you finish the third revision, you're forced to concede this must be the right address, but it's not remotely what you expected. You're playing Space Marine 2 with friends, went like 7 hours straight, damn. Got Prestige 1 and almost 20. That Prestige? Hell yeah. I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad you had fun. Non-lethal. I always did it on the hardest mode. Nice. Okay. Nestled between two gleaming skyscrapers sits a much smaller, much stranger building. There's the unnerving facade, the decorative windows, the massive front gates, and the bronze door knocker. I tried to be a nice beam. The local branch of Smyrna Corp is only 4 stories tall, yet feels impossibly imposing. It's caught between outdated aesthetics and timeless sensibilities, somehow both outrageous, yet invisibly subtle, as if it meant to be forgotten at a passing glance, and to haunt those whose gazes linger. You suspect you may be underdressed. Feed the catnip. No, maybe. Your most confidence-instilling piece of clothing is the hoodie you bought on your first day of college. A plush, cozy sweater inscribed your aborted alma mater's prestigious name and logo. For you, wearing it is an act of defiance, a proclamation that this esteemed institution was unable to contain your full potential with its paltry confines. Others tend to interpret it less charitably, especially once they realize you dropped out years ago and haven't held a steady job since. Regardless, what you've got will have to do, the hour of your interview approaches and you won't have cash to afford a better outfit until the job is yours. Reach for the knocker and bang it against the door. The bronze object booms against the iron gates, even harder than your thumping heart. Moments later, something clicks, and a latch comes undone. The doors groan themselves open, inviting you inside. You step into the building and are greeted by what seems to be a 5-star hotel's reception area. The room is utterly massive, with high ceilings that would rival a Renaissance church's cavernous belly. Its windows let no sunshine through, and no fluorescent light bulbs fill it with their pale glare. There are just low-hanging chandeliers and an array of green-glassed banker lamps, bathing the room in burnt orange. Upholstered sofas and coffee tables dot the space like islands, forming a winding path that leads to the room's distant depths. There, a woman stands behind a desk, flanked on each side by grillage elevators. The sharp machine gun clatter of her mechanical keyboard echoes across the room. You appreciate the old and analog, but Smyrna Corp's apparent fondness is downright ridiculous. Hopefully the receptionist won't feel the same way about your subpar outfit. Tend to be confident, stride over like you own the place. With a little luck, it'll read as self-assurance instead of total fucking delusion. The dim lighting becomes dimmer the further you go, and thick shadows close in on you like claustrophobic walls. Wall-to-wall carpeting squishes under your feet, and an unfamiliar ammonia aroma assails your flared nostrils, Whatever they used to clean the space smells strong enough to double as a bioweapon, but still isn't enough to erase the lingering stench of cigarette smoke. The off-putting odour does suit the outdated decor, however. Except for those unsettling sculptures carved into the room's concrete support pillars, disturbing shapes that assail you from all sides, emerging from the shadows like pretentious interpretations of 21st century demons on your left, on your right, up ahead. What happened to good old-fashioned gargoyles? Unsettled by your surroundings, your eyes drift back to the woman working the reception desk. There are letters engraved in the wall above her, spelling out a slogan in a twinkling silver font. Memoriae perpetuitas mutatio. Memory, perpetuity, change, or memories perpetually mutate. If you give the grammar an overly charitable reading, you're surprised that freshman year Latin class actually turned out useful. But it's even more surprising to see a corporation with a slogan like that. You hope your aunt's documents would have provided insight. Instead, they were mostly full of vapid statements about connecting modern business with industry-leading talent, or some such variation of the standard corporate tripe. You wave hello to the receptionist, but she doesn't even flinch. Her gaze remains glazed over, wholly focused on her work. She's younger than you first thought, maybe 30? Likely not quite. Sickly pale, with sleep-deprived bags under her eyes. Each one darker than the acrylic of her tidy black turtleneck. Her hair is knotted into a dainty bun, fingers devoid of polish or rings. They move across the keyboard like demented tap dancers. Wait, no. Not her keyboard. Her typewriter. It's a really, really old one, made from brass, black plastic, and way too many moving parts. A relic from the 1800s that looks like it barely scraped through both world wars, and you thought your laptop was getting old. There's also a small desk, bell glimmering in the counter. Maybe you should... I'm going to ring the bell. A pleasant ding resounds like clinking champagne glasses. The woman's head snapped forwards as though struck by an electric shock. He flashes you a beaming, not quite pearl-white smile. Oh my god, look at this face! Look at that smile! Oh my word! There is something not quite right with this lady. Welcome to Smyrna Corp. You have an appointment? The words barely seep through the woman's gritted teeth. Her grin so tight it hurts to watch. There's no trace of frustration. She's the dictionary definition of too friendly, made uncomfortably manifest. Unsettled, you stumble your way through an explanation of your aunt's referral. The receptionist replies with a nod, squinting as she reads the writing on the typewriter's latest sheet. That's quite the smile there. Quite calm. Ah, of course, we've been expecting you. I'm afraid Mr. Burgard is running a little late this afternoon. He'll need a few more minutes until he's ready to speak with you. But you're more than welcome to pursue our visitor handbooks while you're waiting. He gestures to the seat of nearby couches and a table full of company pamphlets. But you're more surprised to notice someone else already sitting there. A young man with a bitter look etched into his furrowed face. Could this be... another applicant for the job? Shit, your aunt never mentioned competition. They turn out to be competent. You could be in big trouble. Your bleak musings are cut short by the receptionist's unpainted nails tapping at her name tag. I'm Melusine, by the way. I'll call you as soon as Mr. Burgard becomes available. In the meantime, please let me know if you have any questions. The grateful, albeit embarrassed nod, you walk away and slump into an old-fashioned sofa, Melusine's rickety typewriting clicking away once more. The couch cushion feels quite stiff, or maybe your stress-clenched back does. Considering the ferocious stare down you receive from the stranger seated across you, it could well be the latter. A steady tick of vintage clocks draws your gaze. Its hands point in opposite directions. 3:42 p.m. 18 minutes left. Night Metal, thank you for all your support. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful sleep. Good thing you came early. You still have time to prepare for your interview. But probably not enough to do everything you want. You'll have to decide where to spend it carefully. Read through those pamphlets and find out more about Smyrna Corp. You snatch a brochure that seems to cover the most interesting topics, hoping it'll contain some hints about your future 9 to 5. Your guide towards success in a post-truth future. Welcome to Smyrna Corp. You're mildly disgusted by the amount of insipid buzzwords featured on each page. The whole thing reeks of hyperbole, with a lesser whiff of self-congratulation, but at least it was somewhat informative. Plus, this company seems way more prestigious than you expected. The salaries must be pretty decent. Tuck the pamphlet back to the display, give the clock another glance. 3:51. You still have a few minutes left, maybe enough to extract information from one of the other people in the room. I don't want to talk to the angry man. So I'm going to go, and I don't want to distract her from her work. So I'm thinking coffee table, magazine. The publication's pages are so old and withered, they're practically illegible. The ink used to print each article has washed out and faded with age. The only thing you can still make sense of is an old-fashioned advertisement for a rather suspicious cleaning product. You've acquired Scream Clean. Okay, fine, we'll talk to the angry guy. Time to break the ice. Hopefully it won't be very thin ice. You seem to be understanding with the guy. You take a seat next to the stranger, introducing yourself with a smile. Rather than ease the tension, the man scowls as if you were a clump of dog shit clinging to his shoe. The calling voice sounds closer to a poorly maintained gravel driveway. What the hell do you want? Can't you see I'm not in the mood? Well, if you couldn't tell before, you certainly can now. You gulp audibly, worried this person might assault you at a moment's notice. You stammer out some vague apologies. You notice something surprising. Doesn't look all that angry, let alone angry at you. He's mostly looks fretful. The man's calloused hands aren't balled into fists, but kneading each other with relentless worry. Sweat beads at the temples of his receding hairline, wearing down the gel matting down his tar black locks. One of his legs shudders visibly, its foot tapping the floor with a breakneck tempo, with a meth-addled punk musician stomping a drum pedal. He reminds you of Melusine. He has that same not quite 30s face, the same darkened, baggy, tired eyes, same snug black turtleneck kept tidy as a military uniform. But his name tag reads Emiliano. Name tag, it hits you. That Emiliano isn't a company client, nor a protested candidate for the same job as you. He's a Smyrna Corp employee. Pal, all you're staring is going to do is give me a fit. Either speak up or back off, alright? Your aunt has warned you how stressful this place is. Best to leave him alone. Do we leave him alone? Be compassionate and ask if there's something wrong. Ooh. Why is this one so much smaller? For you, the hardest part of job hunting was always the impression of powerlessness, combined with a feeling of tremendous isolation. Even one person who could sympathize with your woes would have been a godsend, but this guy only reads your empathy as an insult. Are you brain damaged or actively trying to screw with me? Seriously, I'm getting laid off from the worst job I've ever had. Why the hell would I want to get cheered up about it? Heck, if it weren't for this shitty exit interview, I'd be the happiest day of my life. You have a hard time picturing this being happy, but no trouble whatsoever imagining why the man was fired. Then suddenly you connect the dots. This must be the problematic employee your aunt was talking about. You grin so hard your jaw clenches. Offering to make someone feel better right before stealing their job is a level of awkward tension you weren't prepared for. trying to recover from your embarrassment, you change the subject to this exit interview, which seems to be causing such strife.
Jacoda.
Must be pretty new to Smyrna Corp. You're asking me that, huh? Look, if they just wanted to tell me no hard feelings or ask how management could have done better, I wouldn't have a problem, but these bastards don't work that way. Every person I've ever seen get called into one of these meetings comes out looking like a walking corpse, and I don't blame them one bit. Honestly, I'd rather get castrated than go into that meeting. At least then I could bring my balls back home in a pretty little box, and I'd send out a loud keep out message to whoever they called in to take my place. God. Well, it'd send some kind of message. Still, despite the crudeness of his metaphors and the stink of booze on his breath, you sense Emilio's fears runs deeper than unemployment. But you get the feeling he wants to protect the person who's be taking over his job. Did you reveal your identity? Confess your intentions and ask about his warning. The warning he has for you. After making sure the receptionist isn't eavesdropping, you whisper the truth to Emilio's ears. His already bulging eyes grow wider as you realize why you're here. Rather than appear relieved by your presence, you suddenly sense he's deathly afraid of her. You're not messing with me, are you? You're really here to work at Smyrna Corp. You nod, briefly explaining your precarious financial situation, assuring him you meant no offense by applying for a livelihood he'll soon be deprived of. But the booze-breathed man doesn't seem to register a single word you say. Rather, he interrupts you by leaning in so close, the surface of your respective eyeballs practically kiss. Listen to me, it's too late for you now. Listen to me, it's too late for you now. The moment you walked through that door, your chance to escape disappeared. But what you can do is lessen any damage those bastards will make you inflict. The guy who's going to interview you, Burgard, if your application satisfies him, he'll ask you to go through an evaluation. A questionnaire that's meant to give you a taste of the work we really do around here. Can't tell you any more without getting up to my neck in shit. No matter what happens, you've got to do everything in your power to fail that test, okay? This plea is earnest, full of desperation, yet it's so patently ridiculous. Why would you purposely flop this probationary evaluation when you're in dire need of a job? What does your onboarding have to do with Emilio's firing anyway? It doesn't make any sense. Yet it doesn't stop the man from begging even harder. You idiot. You not understand the kind of consequences this could have. This might just be a paycheck to you, but to me, it could mean life or literal death. You've got to fail that test. This is beginning to sound less like a warning and more like a threat. Judging by the alcohol-tinged spittle splattered on your neck, it's not an especially sane one. Better cut this conversation short. Lie. Tell him you'll definitely fail the exam on purpose and move away slowly. I think that's the right choice. With a condescending, comforting tone, you promise that you'll save the drunk man as you slink away from him. You barely make it a single inch before Emilio grabs your collar. Ropes of slobber paint your face as he begins to scream.
Gocha seco.
You think I'm fucking stupid? You think I can't tell when someone's lying? I have no idea what consequences this could have for me. Your littlest screw-up could cost me my life. So do what I say and fail. You can't let them change me. You can't. This man's shrieking turns to sobbing, but his grip only grows more feral. His claw-like fingers move towards your face. You're unsure if he's about to grip your throat or gouge out your eyes or both. Whimpering, you cry out for someone to save me. Against all expectations, a booming voice actually answers. Mr. Aguilar, that's enough. Emiliano drops you instantly. He clicks his heel. His heels click as he turns to face whoever shouted. Like a soldier awaiting inspection, In your peripheral vision, you see Melusine do the same thing. Her gesture is much faster and much more practiced. You, meanwhile, are on all fours, gasping for air and gagging on the smell of ammoniac cleaner. Never has the taste of chemicals ever been so sweet. You turn to thank your savior, only to choke on your breath once more. Standing in front of the elevator is, without exaggeration, the most massive man you've ever seen. He's taller than a fridge, twice as wide, and perhaps thrice as heavy. The pure white of his immaculate dentistry contrasts with his dark skin, which reflects the room's dim light like finely chiseled onyx. Beneath the perfectly tailored patterns of his elegant tweed suit, muscles shift with every breath, threatening to burst through the seams. Pale blue eyes focus on you as he speaks with a voice like velvet thunder.
Oh, me baden.
Friend, you have my humblest apologies for my subordinate's inexcusable behavior. I'd be more than willing to discuss potential compensation if you deem it necessary, regardless of your interview's outcome. Interview, huh? This must be Mr. Burgard, your soon-to-be boss, luck willing. The ding of an elevator suddenly heard, and one of the grillage doors by the reception creaks open. The tweed behemoth slides his way into the shaft. Packed tighter than a tuna in a too small can, he beckons to join him with a bratwurst thick finger.
Notice amini.
Come along now. We're already behind schedule and I can't afford any more delays. What's more, I frankly cannot wait to discuss your future here at Smyrna Corp. Holy shit, he thinks you have a future. In that moment, Mr. Burgard's big beaming smile is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Thank him and slip into the elevator. It's a tight fit, but you manage to wriggle yourself into the lift by nuzzling up to your hopefully future boss. Oh god. You apologize profusely for the cramped conditions, but he just laughs it off.
Oh, me baden.
No need to be embarrassed. Happens all the time. Oh, and no need for all this Mr. Burgard business, either. First name basis is fine by me. Before the elevator door can snap shut, someone opens their mouth and screams.
Dune, Jacoda.
Obuya, wait. The angry-looking man you were worrying about suddenly drops his knees, hands held together like a prayer. An aura of danger that once clung to him has been dispelled by his blubbering supplication.
Dune, Jacoda.
Sir, I'm begging you, just give me another chance. I swear, I'll do anything. Unpaid overtime. I'll work on weekends. I'll kiss your goddamn shoes if I have to. Just please, don't replace me. Mr. Burgard's only reply is a disappointing sigh. His bright white smile wavers, and tangible contempt taints his otherwise welcoming tone. Hey, Vendaris. We are playing. It's game review night, so we're trying out a couple of games that we were sent. They've all been pretty cool in their own way. We've played Metal Hellsinger, which is a fantastic rhythm game. We did Cthulhu, the Cosmic Abyss, which is a horror game, I think, with a bit of detective stuff that I think we will stream in the future. We played Empire of Sin, which was fantastic, and a game I'm definitely going to play a lot of off-stream. And we did Magicka 2. Now we're playing Inhuman Resources, a literary machination, which is it's primarily text-based role-playing game by the looks of it. It's very good. It's very it's a horror game. It's got really good reviews. Got really good reviews, and I think that mine is also a positive review. I mean, these review nights are meant to be first impressions, but I don't know. I'm gonna check the completion time, and if it's something I can do in one, I might just finish. I might just finish it. Oh, 6 to 7 hours. Oh god. Yeah, it's a choice-driven narrative horror game with hundreds of different paths. I guess because it's a text-based adventure, unlike, say, Role playing as HR. Lol. No. Everyone here looks like they're having a bad time. Look at these faces. Yeah. So this game is also Scuff's titled Real Life Simulator. Maybe when I used to work in an office. Maybe when I used to work in an office back in the day. God. Yeah, I think we'll see this through. I think we'll play this. It's nice to do like sort of like reading focused stuff. But yeah, apparently this game takes about 6 to 7 hours for a first playthrough, not completing everything.
Samogeto.
Mr. Aguilar, you've had more second chances than I can count, and displaying such undignified desperation in front of a candidate set to take over your position is not an endearing choice. Frankly, there's nothing more I can or want to do for you beyond offering the standard company-issued severance package. The once intimidating stranger collapses as though shot in the chest. His body ripples with hiccuping wails, his fists powerlessly pounding at the carpet floor. Your maybe future boss clicks his tongue, more disappointed than disturbed. He turns to give Melusine a firm look and firmer orders.
Tome baden.
Miss St. Sains, please ensure our former staffer behaves until his offboarding is complete, will you? I'll attend to him once I'm done with our guest. The tired woman gives a nervous nod, rushing back to her typewriter as if nothing happened. The clacking keys are now punctuated by the tears of a grown man. Abuya thumbs a few buttons and the elevator finally slides shut. Through cracks in the grillage gates, you see the receptionist giving you a small wave, mouthing a worrisome farewell.
Ima Giacomo.
Good luck. Before you can decide whether she was cheering you on or trying to warn you, the floor lurches forward, downwards. Chapter complete. The interview. I wonder how many chapters there actually are in this game. You do have the option to just straight up not take the job. You do have the option to just not take the job. Which is kind of cool, honestly. How many chapters are there? Okay, so there's multiple endings, multiple paths that give you different numbers of chapters, and we don't know how it's actually going to go. Man. Proceed to the interview. The face screams there is no war in Ba Sing Se. Yeah, there's something fucked up happening in this company, and I'm very, very curious to find out what it is. Hey, we got lift music. Man, I fucking love chill bossa music and lifts. After descending a short way, the elevator slows to a crawl, then comes to a complete stop, groaning under the combined mass of its unevenly weighted passengers. For a moment, you worry the cables have jammed. Clearing his throat, Mr. Burgard reaches over your shoulder and points to the lift's control panel.
Hydroponica.
That was a smile of someone who digs the Kool-Aid a lot. Congratulations on your new job. First of all, execute the one who formerly held your position. Lol. Would you do me the honor of entering our meeting room's access password? If you're going to be working here, you may as well learn how to travel across the office. Just type in bloop, 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 if you please. Oh, and no need to be too brusque about it. Precision matters more than speed with these old doodads. The interviewer chuckles as he watches you fiddle with the eclectic symbols, amused by your apparent unfamiliarity. No doubt he's used to employees entering these combinations with routine deftness of jaded shoppers, typing in their PIN numbers during credit card transactions. You're still not sure why he's making you type the password in, nor why the elevator uses passwords in the first place. Wouldn't keycards be easier, or normal numbers at least? Regardless of as the last button clicks into place, the elevator resumes its descent at an increased momentum, plunging deep into the earth with no sign of stopping. After almost 20 seconds, you wonder if it's headed for the planet's core.
Oh, me pardon.
You'll have to beg my pardon for the sluggishness. I've petitions to have this thing replaced, but the encryptology department refuses to let us invest in newer models. Potential security risks, or so they claim. Boogeyman hogwash, I say. An upgrade has been long overdue. Maybe once our deal with Radium finally goes through, they'll be a bit more welcoming of true progress, eh? You nod along politely, pretending to understand what he means. You're unsure the displays look convincing. Still, by the sounds of it, you'll be stuck here for a while. How do you kill time? Ask Abuya to explain his employees' unusual... No. Give those buttons a closer look. Squinting at the control panel, you try making sense of the assorted icons, decorating each key, trying to intuit the twisted logic, linking them together. There must be some rationale informing the design of these peculiar passcodes. Yeah, I have no idea what this is meant to mean. Unfortunately, the longer you look, the less you understand what the pi symbol and Greek omega have to do with any of those scribbles you've never seen before. The bout of mental gymnastics required to even attempt drawing a clear pattern leaves you with a nagging headache. At least you remember the password Abuya gave you. In the end, you're so focused on decoding the secret behind Smirnocorp's buttons that you're startled by Burgard.
Monica.
Those are runes. I'm so screwed. I mean, our aunt who asked me said I was literally saving her life by taking this job, and she apologized and hoped that she could forgive me in the first chapter. So I don't know what to think about that. We're probably going to die here. How's the audio, by the way? Not too loud. The game music isn't too loud, is it? I hope you're as excited for this interview as I am, friend. At the risk of sounding biased, I have very high expectations of you. The woman who recommended you for this position, your aunt, I believe, she had nothing but great things to say. She assured me you were an academic visionary, too erudite and forward-thinking to have your intellectual potential constrained by conventional institutions of higher education. A mind that bold and gifted sounds like an essential addition to any Smirnocorp team. You answer the giant's compliment with an awkward chuckle. Internally, however, you are screaming. You knew your aunt was bound to bend the truth a little, to make your lack of diploma seem like a winning feature. The facts regarding your failed education seem to have gotten so twisted, they may as well be suffering from medically inoperable testicular torsion. I think your past of war crimes is catching up with me. No! They'll never take me alive. As you force yourself to smile through an impending panic attack, the elevator comes to a grinding halt. Its grillage door sliding open. You squeeze your way out of there. It's a bit of a battle to wriggle past Abuya, Though you soon find yourself free of the claustrophobic lift and breathing a bit easier, Mr. Beauregard follows suit, flipping a light switch to illuminate the otherwise pitch-black room.
Yamona Kimo.
Welcome to my humble office. Ah, so that's what this place is. An office wouldn't have been your first guess. Oh, that reminds me. That reminds me something. Something that I must check. The rectangular space before you is reminiscent of an oversized police interrogation room. The walls are painted glossy black, glistening in the sepia glow of a low-hanging ceiling lamp. And if it weren't for the obvious two-way mirror in the back, the room would appear infinite in size, a boundless expanse of inky shadow extending in every direction. It sounds like they're taking one either way. Ah! I don't want it. A single desk sits at the room's center, made of a block of carved mahogany. Coffee-stained paperwork covers the surface, like some madman's wallpaper, and countless colored wires sprawl across the floor, as though the varnished wood had somehow sprung electrical roots. Leather chairs fit to dwarf royal thrones loom over both ends of the table, no doubt custom built to accommodate Mr. Beauregard's colossal frame. The behemoth briskly motions for you to take a seat, but you sink so far into the plush leather it feels more like the seat takes you. Prying yourself out of those comfortable depths, your eyes turn to the sparse assortments of unusual baubles decorating the table's corners, on this side, on that side, right in front of you, and scattered all over the place. The item which perplexes you the most, however, is an old vinyl record, snugly wrapped in a yellow keep-out tape. Mr. Beauregard notes your interest with an amused arch of his brow.
Notice Amini.
You wouldn't happen to be a fan of jazz, would you? Yeah, but your smile can grow no bigger, but it certainly shines brighter upon hearing your enthusiastic answer.
Notice Amini.
Well then, I'm quite excited to find out what a fellow connoisseur will think of this particular gem. Carefully placing the confidential vinyl onto an old record player, Mr. Beauregard lowers the needle, bids you to listen. Strange somber soundscape slowly fills the office, with a blues-inspired rhythm you can't quite compare to anything you've heard before. It's not appalling per se, but it's perhaps a little messy, and eerie enough to make you uncomfortable. The duet voices of a man and a woman muttering warbled lyrics only adds to the strangeness. You can't make out a word they're saying, except for the chorus verse. Let's call the whole thing off.
Kudomi Jaji.
Gina and Herschel Gershwin, twins, you're wondering, not a couple, despite all the turbulent rumours that once surrounded their odd relationship. Never met them myself, but I do know they could have been bigger than the Beatles back in the band's heyday. The biggest case of my career was making sure they wouldn't be. But I always found it tragic that one of their records was left intact in the world. I also feel quite lucky to be the man who owns it. Few will ever have the privilege of hearing such avant-garde work. You utter a few admirative oohs and ahs, feigning interest to conceal your perplexity. What does a human resource company have to do with ruining musicians' careers? How could we be employed, yet alone alive during the birth years of rock and roll? He's not that old, is he? Before you can scrutinize the man's non-existent wrinkles, he promptly clears the stray documents from his desk, making space for a repulsively familiar sheet of paper. Your loathsome fucking resume laid bare for the world to gawk at. God, you're sick of seeing that thing. Hey, Marlon. The music is occasionally just slightly out of tune to make it really creepy. Maybe. How you doing, Marlon? We're playing existential work-life horror game today, with lots of reading. Aboya interlaces his fingers, pale eyes darkening into a severe stare. You suddenly find yourself keenly aware of just how dangerous the man could be, should he choose to embrace violence over verbal repartee.
Kimau hone.
Time to begin our little interview. I'll be asking you a series of questions. Some will appear rather peculiar, others rather innocuous. They may be difficult to answer at times, as you've not been made fully aware of your position, nor of Smirnokov's company goals. However, I still request that you provide honest and instinctive responses, regardless of context. They'll give us a better idea of the role you'll be assigned during your time among us. Wait, you have to ace an interview before being told about the job you're applying for? What a mess. Either Smirnokov has an unintuitive hiring process, or their non-disclosure agreements are so incestuously interwoven, no one can get any work done without being strangled to death by red tape. Still, Aboya's words make things clear. The only way you'll get hired and earn a salary to pay rent you owe is by acing this goddamn interview, no matter what it takes. There's his eye taking your squirrely phrasing, but he does not linger on the subject.
Samogeto.
So be it. Let us commence.
Notisamini.
Question 1. A runaway locomotive is barreling down a set of railroad tracks at uncontrollable speeds. In its path lay 5 people, tied down and unable to move. If nothing is done, the locomotive will surely crush them and end their lives in an instant.
Tome baden.
You stand in a train yard next to a large lever. You know that if you pull the locomotive, it will divert its course to a separate track. However, this one will cross to death. Is tied. How do you ensure all 6 people escape this tragedy? Well, that's not quite the where do you see yourself in 5 years strictly useful. How the hell are you supposed to respond? Assuming you can operate that lever, you might also know how to remotely trigger the emergency brakes. There's the question of other ethical conundrums and how they expose moral biases. Not exactly the foremost authority on trade yard technological advances, but you're pretty sure conductors have developed multiple automated and manual failsafes specifically to prevent cartoonish catastrophes like this. Not you have $1 million idea pitch.
Kudomijaji.
That's an impressively refreshing answer. Although to be candid, many representatives in other departments would strongly disagree with your technology-based solution. The Tweed Behemoth gestures to the yellowing documents strewn around his desk. And the baubles at its corners, all of them appear ancient enough to have been stolen from an unsuspecting museum's oldest shelves.
Gawona kimo.
Smirnokov was built upon a simple idea. That humankind's potential must not become entrapped by false promises of privacy. Efficiency is no excuse to discard anonymous practicality. Our old hat philosophies and reliance on archaic devices have kept this company on the path to success for decades. The world is changing and we cannot remain blind to the additional insights technology can provide.
Kudomijaji.
After all, how can we think outside the box if we lack the tools to grasp how big the box has become, especially in our ever so chaotic digital era? We're not quite sure how to respond to that, let alone how it applies to human resources, but you still managed to stammer out some words of agreement, which hopefully imply you were thinking the same thing.
Ajobonica.
Your profile has changed, +2 technological literacy. Now, moving along to question 2, you kindly rephrase your greatest flaw to sound like your greatest strength. Oh god!
Come
Be
baden.
advised, I do not want to hear any of that cowardly, I'm too much of a perfectionist, or I'm a huge workaholic crap most folks use to make them sound flawless. I want a proper blameworthy weakness, reconfigured into a proper praiseworthy strength. Understood? Behemoth leans forward, and the room's darkness looms with him. Both close in around you, like the walls of solitary confinement cell or the rope of an eager hangman's noose. Better think of something good. Much time chatting with her helps you understand. You often try solving problems with brawn, not brains, but you're in shape, great shape, so it works out. To emphasize your point, you flex a modest bicep, the muscle circumference positively next to Abuya's arms, which are wide as the manhole covers. Still, the Behemoth seems pleasantly surprised to see such confidence in your own physical fitness, not to mention its potential problem-solving capacities.
Ajubonica.
Glad to hear we think alike on the virtues of exercise. I always tell fellow supervisors that a healthy body is a solid foundation for the development of healthy minds. Even in office contexts, between long hours, mentally demanding tasks, and the need to travel between departments, maintaining one's corporal constitution can also maintain one's efficiency.
Gawona Kimo.
Furthermore, too often do sheltered folks suspect brute strength. Too often do suspect brute strength to be a solution born of incompetence. There are times when it is the optimal approach to resolve certain challenges, especially in this office. You never know what you might be asked to do during a difficult orientation session. Guy makes it sound like your average 9 to 5 workday will be an Olympic triathlon. What kind of human resource service involves physically manhandling a fussy customer? Oh well, whatever it is, you'll probably be in good enough shape to deal with it, right?
Come baden.
Now then, onward to our final inquiry. Regarding your schooling, I would like you to, well, if you could explain the, goodness, how do I phrase this delicately? Behemoth's words trail into muttered mumbles, his velvet thunder voice degrading into something more akin to a bumblebee stuck in a dog's mouth. His blue eyes dart between you and the paper's underwhelming bullet points, with increasingly disgusted concern, though finally noticing what kind of unemployable aberration has stepped into this building. It's an unfortunately common reaction for anyone who reads your CV. The singers on the record player shout a loud suggestion to just call the whole thing off. Their advice, for better or worse, goes unheeded.
Mau horny.
Well, at the risk of sounding insensitive, I'd truly appreciate some insight regarding your academic background. How do you believe a workplace of our nature could benefit from hiring someone with such a dubiously incompatible education? You bite your tongue before you can remind Burger that your dubiously incompatible education was never actually completed. You pray the shame doesn't show in your face too much. Of course it was going to come down to this. Fine then, time to prove those stupid successful companies wrong and make being a dropout sound like a huge selling point. What do we want to do, chat? Computer science? Or child psychology? I think Ultimate Frisbee is fucking dumb. Studied child psych. I feel like this one, child psychology, is probably the right choice. You're unsure of what kind of services Smyrna Corp really offers. There's no doubt social sciences would come in handy with human resources. By honing your communication skills and providing extra insight into people's personality quirks, your schooling should prove useful in dealing with clients and co-workers. Hey Harry, how you doing? Discuss some of the intricacies of your most memorable seminars, specifically those concerning mental development and lingering infant trauma known to emerge decades later. Examples of how early experiences inform otherwise incoherent attitudes among grown adults. Mr. Burgard's concern mellows into curiosity with every passing explanation. Then, as your story concludes, he regards you with outright admiration.
Kudo mijaji.
I cannot even begin to explain how often our Smyrna Corp representatives fail to consider the significance of formative experiences when it comes to mapping out an individual's psyche. Childhood memories are oft overlooked, yet integral to determining the root cause of a client's wants, fears, or failings. In our most extreme cases, identifying those root causes is utterly essential to succeed.
Gawona kimo.
The fact that you have such a thoughtful and informed perspective before starting your first day, no less, is truly incredible. Correcting human behavior is a complicated, multi-layered process, but your pre-existing awareness of that fact will be a major asset. Quite exhausted, you've been working alone for a while now. Aww. I hope you get to relax. Aww. This flattery sends swarms of butterflies fluttering around your stomach. It's been a while since you've last received such a compliment, let alone felt actual pride in yourself, as opposed to the usual undercurrent of exhausted shame. Ironically, a therapist would have questions for you about that.
Notice amini.
Child psychology specialization, social aptitude +2. Anywho, I believe that concludes our questionnaire for today. As for your results, the man's enormous fingers crumple your CV into a ball and toss it aside. It bounces across the wire-laden floor, disappearing into an inky corner of the abyssal room. Your chest tightens, panic swells, catastrophic scenarios and thoughts of crushing failure explode throughout your head. Obuya's beaming smile diffuses them all.
Gawona kimo.
To tell you the truth, this little meeting of ours was nothing more than a corporate-mandated formality. Between your aunt's glowing recommendation and the fact that you showed up to our offices on such short notice, I knew from the start that I'd be wanting you on board. After this discussion, I am pleased to announce that my hunch has been confirmed and I am most pleased to be extending you a permanent employment offer. He's clearly mocking you. Pinch yourself. Hang on, you actually want to hire me? You've never been this close to getting employed in ages. You almost expect the man to reveal it was a cruel prank the whole time. Instead, Mr. Burgard chuckles, amused by your aghast reaction.
Notice amini.
I'm dead serious, friend. In fact, you didn't just meet expectations, you exceeded them.
Gawona kimo.
Our exchange has revealed that you're an individual of incredibly diverse talents. Polyvalent in terms of interests and accomplishments, you're quick to adapt your methods according to the issue at hand, unable to find a path to success in almost any circumstance. In a diverse, multidisciplinary workplace like ours, such a skill is not only enviable, but downright essential. It may be true that certain challenges will require a greater degree of specialization, or that a jack of all trades is forever cursed to be a master of none, but I believe the sheer amount of options at your disposal should be enough to overcome most obstacles.
Ajubonika.
So, would you deem my interpretation of your aptitudes accurate, or have I misconstrued the content of your character? You're on point, 100%. Flattered by Obuya's appraisal, you relish the satisfaction of having been truly seen. It's not every day that you get such a precise, quantifiable breakdown of your unique abilities. May they serve you well in tackling the horrors to come.
Tome baden.
Good to know. Very good indeed. In that case, I'll nudge administration to start producing your contract. I'll unfortunately have to remain cagey about some details, such as workplace tasks or starting salary, till all the legal hoopla has been sorted, but assuming you care to accept a generous starting offer. Mr. Burgard's chuckling deepens as he extends a massive hand. His blue eyes are bright with joy, his tongue hungrily running over his pure white teeth.
Ajubonika.
Please allow me to informally welcome you as the newest member of Smyrna Corp. I look forward to reviewing your performance. Holy shit, it's actually happening. You're going to have a job. You're going to have money. Enough of it to pay the rent, keep a roof over your head, eat food, anything. Fight the urge to cry and shake Mr. Burgard's hands. Let tears flow and tell him just how grateful you are. Does not answer your appreciation with a rather he reaches forward, lean forward, and the way something in the tall grass would stalk towards an unaware prey. Instinct, but the behemoth's pounce comes too quickly. Before you can possibly react, your entire hand is engulfed within a fist size, the size of a ripe cantaloupe. Before you can possibly react, your entire hand, almost instantly, something begins to feel terribly, terribly wrong. Despite Mr. Burgard's pure white smile, it feels as though your new boss is trying to leave you crippled from the wrist down. Knuckles crunch, folding in on each other. Metacarpals squeak and whine. Articular cartilage between them both crumble into collagen sand. But all that pain is nothing next to sharp, stinging agony shooting through your palm. Faint pain, beg Burgard to let go. Fight to pry your fingers free, but the giant's grip is iron and deaf to your complaints. If anything, he squeezes harder. Oh God. The needle point pain inside your hand sinks even deeper, deep enough for you to think it might pierce the whole way through, deep enough for you to wonder how, if it could somehow kill you. Your jaw unhinges to let out a scream. For a single sound comes through, Mr. Burgard lets you go free with an innocent sounding oops.
Kudomi Jaji.
Dear me, I was a tad too firm there, wasn't I? Beg pardon, friend. I tend to forget my own strength sometimes. Brah! Sweet Behemoth lets out an earnestly apologetic chuckle. You force yourself to chuckle back. Laughter makes tremendous effort. It's hard to buy his excuse, no matter how believable it may be. Panicked, you palpate your palm, searching for any scars left by the thing that was drilling into your flesh. But there is no wound, no torn skin, no deep cuts, not even mild bruising. You don't even feel the pain anymore. All you find is a single bead of bright red blood, no bigger than a pinhead. You wipe it away, frantically seeking what lurks beneath. It is warm to the touch and leaves a scarlet smear across your skin, like a painter's brush. But there's no sign of where the paint has come from. No wound, no scar. There could be some swelling, but it's faint enough to make you suspect that the bulge isn't really there. Maybe, just maybe, it was all in your head. If there's no wound, is it someone else's blood? You risk a furtive glance at the Behemoth's hands, hoping to find a clue on his skin. Before you're sure you've spotted something, a clatter interrupts you. From one of his desk's drawers, Mr. Burgard withdraws a slab of metal, size of a stovetop. At first you assume it's a tablet device, custom built to fit the Tweed giant's fingers and resist their vice-like grip. Perhaps a turntable meant for an aspiring DJ, painted in drab colours. A closer look reveals something older and clunkier. Made of grey aluminium and solid beige plastics, blinging buttons, flickable switches, knobs and sliders of all kinds decorate its crowded surface, with a cluttered interface too complex to grasp at a glance. Despite your fondness for outdated tech, you cannot tell what kind of machine this is, nor what purpose it might serve. Your best guess is an old movie prop stolen from the studio set of a sci-fi film from the 1950s, and not necessarily a good sci-fi film. Fun fact, there was supposedly a strategy game called Inhuman Rescources, where it's a war between Lovecraftian monstrosities and giant machines, and we humans are their resources. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing, Jaeger. Mr. Burgard bends over to grab a heaping handful of wires off the messy floor. Seemingly at random, he sorts through dozens of them at a time, plugging in only a paltry few into his device's outlets. Now that the pleasantries are finally done with, I suggest we proceed to the evaluation portion of our exchange. Got canned, the devs are being greedy. Damn. Aha! You were wondering when you'd be getting to that part. Behemoth appears taken aback by your expectant nod. He's even more surprised by the nervousness your lousy poker face can't conceal. Though you were told to expect a test, you were also warned to be wary. And you're not particularly excited to find out what that machine has to do with it.
Ajubonica.
Come now, no need to get agitated. I've already agreed to hire you. It's not like I'll be terminating your employment before your first probationary milestone.
Kudo mijaji.
The format of this evaluation will be similar to our open-ended interview questionnaire. This time I'll be presenting intentionally confusing scenarios that Smyrna Corp employees might encounter during their day-to-day tasks. Your goal is to present solutions to each particular problem as you deem appropriate, regardless of how unconventional the suggestion may seem. Yet again, there are no wrong answers, but I will tally your responses to determine how much supervision you'll require during onboarding.
Tome baden.
In other words, I once more encourage honesty over making a good impression, for both our sakes. Behemoth flicks a larger switch upon his instrument's dashboard. A low, droning, palpable hum fills the shadowy room. The light bulb hanging over you flickers, then goes dark, bathing the already dim room in night absolute blackness. Only the device's glowing buttons reflected in the two-way mirror provide you with any light.
Kudo mijaji.
Shall we get started? Let's call the whole thing off. The record player begs you, over and over again. It seems to be stuck in place and skipping a few beats. Unfortunately, your body is also stuck in place, petrified in your plush chair, and your heart is skipping a few beats more. You give your sore hand a tight squeeze and hope the throbbing will stop too. Let's go. Mr. Burgard chuckles, his teeth so white they almost glow in the dark. You hear him whisper a single word with a deep, bassy growl. Perfect. Your new boss's bratwurst thick fingers push one of the machine sliders to its absolute limit. The room's brassy hum increases in pitch and frequency.
Notisamini.
I'll start you off with an easy one. Let's say, hypothetical, that you're supervising a group of employees from a different company. They hired you to isolate the source of their decreased productivity, then remedy the issue. It does not take long for you to identify the problem. One of their staff members is extremely troublesome. Bonk!
Pink Panicky were just raided with 11 viewers.
Ray! Their stream ignored orders, raid. Lol. Hey, Fenry. Hey, Red Hoodie. Shortest raid distance ever. Literally in the other room. Hi. Toby. Hi. Welcome, Raiders. I am Scuff. I'm a variety streamer. I do a lot of hobby content. Lots of Warhammer, lots of Battletech. You all should know me. Pink calls me wifey. I'm literally in the room next to her. Yeah. We are doing game review night. So we're checking out a bunch of different titles. We've had some really good ones tonight. We played Metal Hellsinger to start. We did Cthulhu Cosmic Abyss, which is going to be a horror game we'll stream in full eventually. We tried Empire of Sin. Pink, I think you'd really like Empire of Sin, by the way. It's like a Civ, but you play gangsters. And it's got a really nice jazz soundtrack. Really, really good. We tried Magicka too. It's Magicka, but more. And now we're playing Inhuman Resources, a literary machination, which is a text-based multi-path RPG with several different alternate routes and endings. It's a horror game. It's a horror game, but it's very unlike anything we've ever played before. It's a text adventure. It's really cool. The background sounds you hear in Punk streams and stuff. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm loud. I don't mean to be. I just am sometimes. I'm not the only one. I can hear Pink when she's streaming in my room. I'm gonna shower. Okay. I hope you have a comfy shower. I could do with a shower. Damn, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna do like, at the end of this chapter, I saw you online. I was thinking, oh, I'll raid into you. But I guess I guess that's not happening anymore, lol. Love the background screams that answer the exclusion. Oh, hey Scuff, was listening to Ponk and you're being too loud, damn it, lol. That is something that people have actually said in chat, from Pink's chat. When the giant pauses, uttering a tisk of irritation. He wasn't supposed to specify this mystery employee's gender. When he speaks again, he enunciates slowly, with more consideration. This hypothetical individual has an undeniably inadequate productivity level. They never meet bare minimum expectations, they lack punctuality, disrespect their colleagues, browse unsavory websites with company property instead of dedicating their limited work hours to completing overdue urgent paperwork. Their misconduct is continuous and condemnable. The Ponk stream without scuff noises isn't complete. That's true. The employee has been given multiple warnings and provided with opportunities to improve their performance. Both have been failed or have been ignored. The client is contemplating firing this problematic worker, but are concerned that becoming understaffed during an especially critical moment of the fiscal quarter could jeopardize their important deadlines. What do you think should be done to re-establish the client's baseline productivity? I think installing software. The employee is just compulsively texting and web surfing. Why not cut the problem off at the source? Most office networks limit access to undesirable content nowadays, so it can't be that hard to set up. Plus, it will prevent future staffers from indulging in the same habit. You thought your internet-based solution might be complicated to implement in a workspace that relies on refurbished typewriters. Beer's blue eyes bulged with admiration, his lips curling into an epiphanic ooh. This is exactly why I keep telling upper management we need fresh thinkers in the office. The perspective you bring to the table aren't limited by our old hat technologies. They're much more in tune with our planet's current digital landscape. That's why the upcoming deal with Radium Inc. won't just improve our technological infrastructure, it'll improve our technical literacy and technical imagination. Furthermore, I love that the core of your strategy essentially relies on imposing discipline through ignorance and obfuscation, which our techniques Smyrna Corp values dearly. After all, how can slaves ever think to disobey if they are only allowed to learn obedience? You're not sure you enjoy that comparison? Yet as if emphasizing his point, the giant fiddles with his antique devices, myriad buttons and knobs in a series of complex operations. Obia completes his complex mechanical operation with a flourish of flashing lights and a sequence of high-pitched beeping. The machine's noises are loud, but not startling, not compared to the other sound. It's faint at first, muffled, maybe distant, subtle enough to make you wonder if it's part of the record player's tune. The longer you listen, the more unmistakable it becomes. Oh Jesus Christ, somewhere, someone is screaming. Your nails dig into the armrests of your over-large leather seat. Your eyes dart about the room, searching for the noise's source, landing on the two-way mirror and your own aghast reflection coming from across the glass. You hold your breath and wait for the scream to rise up again. There's only the record player's music. The music and the white noise buzz of Burgard's machine as he ahems you back to attention. If you're in need of a restroom, I can point you in the right direction. Otherwise, I'd ask you to please complete the evaluation with a smidge less fidgeting. It negatively impacts our tools, acoustics, you see. It's like you didn't even hear it. Was the scream inside your head, just like the pain in your hands from before? Or maybe... I'm just going to ignore the screaming. You hold your tongue, unwilling to disrupt the tool's acoustics any further. Besides, the strange things have been happening ever since you set foot in this building. Everyone's been acting like it's completely normal. There's probably nothing wrong, right? Right, chat? The boya flips another switch. The room's buzzing shifts into a frequency so oddly low you feel it sending ripples through your organs. Giant gestures your way with steepled fingers, further disturbing your unsettled guts.
Achubonica.
Now, let's say, still hypothetically speaking, that our problem employee has a more specific shortcoming. He is utterly unwilling to cooperate with one of his co-workers. As a matter of long-standing interpersonal friction originating from external sources, maybe there's an irreconcilable difference between them in terms of moral, political, or religious beliefs.
Gabona Kimo.
Regardless of the exact circumstances, our floundering staffer has proven themselves incapable of playing nice with their high-performing teammate. This has resulted in a severe decline in both their productivity levels. Knowing we cannot relocate the problem employee to a new department, nor displace their highly performing partner, how do we ensure the former collaborates with the latter despite the deeply rooted discord between them? Principles I've learned, not biologically dictated, teach them new values better suited to a workplace. Your mind drifts to extreme rehabilitation scenarios. Neo-Nazis mellowed out through exposure to inclusive media. Violent teens overcoming aggression through extensive therapy. They're not quick or cheap solutions, but they do prove people can overwrite old behaviors with new, compassionate values. Oh god, are we brainwashing people? Is that what this place is? Oh god. Your new boss's bright white smile twinkles with tremendous satisfaction. He tweaks his device's knobs with giddy abandon.
Tome baden.
You're absolutely right. Too often do we believe people act in certain ways by default, as though personality or upbringing were immutable entities. But, psychologically speaking, not only can anyone become anything, it can be made to become anything through tactical exposure to new perspectives. Individuals are the sum of environments and ideas they have been exposed to. Thus adding or subtracting experiences from that human equation alters the results.
Achubonica.
Unfortunately, there are times when the only solution is to erase every belief a person holds dear and start them over from nothing. That's just part of the job description. We wouldn't be offering such competitive salaries if designing boutique psychological profiles were easy. Or you can ask an interviewer what the hell he means. Another sound reaches your ears. Not the person's scream this time, but neither is it the vinyl's tune, nor the machine's hum. It resembles a dull, wet, rhythmic thud. Once, twice, thrice you hear it, a little louder every time. Your eyes dart about the room, looking for the noise's source. Find it staring back at you from across the two-way mirror, begging to be let out. The mouth goes dry as it hangs open. Your finger shakes as you start to point. All that remains is silence, a message written in scarlet smears, a cry for help that no one can answer. All he does is harumph at it, annoyed.
Bonekaye.
I really need to put more pressure on that janitor. Soundproofing in here has been unacceptable of late. With more grouchy grumbling, he tweaks a couple of the device's knobs as if nothing happened. Then noticing your aghast expression, he furrows his brow, not with concern, but confusion.
Noticeably.
Is something the matter? You know what? No. Must be hallucinating. It's fine, it's fine. I need the job. I need the job, right, chat? We need the job, right? Evil corporation time. It's fine. It's just like in Cyberpunk. None of this can be real. It can't be.
Gabona Kimo.
Despite these distractions. Now, regarding the conclusion of our conjectural conundrum,
Kudo Bijaji.
let's say, I cannot stress this enough, that our aforementioned staffer is hypothetically assigned to contain a major data breach, one with consequences that could spell disaster for their company and co-workers alike. The sensitive nature of this task requires them to exterminate or indefinitely debilitate any individuals who have witnessed this leaked information so that they become incapable of further dissemination. In this case, the information has only been accessed by two people, the employee's spouse and their prepubescent offspring.
Noticeably.
Needless to say, our employee is reluctant to perform their duty and exterminate these individuals. However, if either family member remains alive, the company stands to lose everything. Furthermore, should they refuse to tie up these loose proverbial ends, you will be required to do so in their place, as outlined in your Smyrna Court contract. In short, how do you ensure these targets perish as intended and that this data breach remains contained, regardless of this problematic employee's hesitation? If it really is a matter of life and death, the human body is a fragile thing. All it takes to break one is a perfectly mundane accident. Choking on food, tapping at an awkward angle, well-placed blade or needle in an undesirable area. You, meanwhile, are stronger than average. Strong enough to make such accidents happen with relative ease. Your stomach audibly churns as you visualize ending a child's life in increasingly vivid detail. Mr. Burgard, meanwhile, guffaws with approval, his machine purring like a pleased tiger as he flicks its myriad switches.
Noticeably.
As much as I approve of your commitment to getting the job done, I assure you it's unlikely for such measures to become necessary, unless you absolutely want to get hands-on, that is. We prefer to rely on our in-house exterminators whenever possible. Less margin for error and all that. Plus, if we're going to build those exterminators for dirty work, we may as well give them some. Especially when they're much more efficient at it than you'll ever be, no matter how impressive your physical health is. But you can ask the giant if he plans to send those exterminators after you. His strange device suddenly starts moaning, its monitor finally displaying your evaluation's tallied results.
Bonica.
Well, this is genuinely impressive. I had high hopes for you, but this exceeds even those anticipations by considerable leaps and bounds. Most of our employees need months, if not years of training to properly optimize our procedures while foregoing all ethical concerns. For you to demonstrate such dedication to efficiency without need for orienteering, that tells me you're destined to accomplish great, terrible things at this company. Why, I barely had to make adjustments to your doppelganger and engineering suggestions. Wait, what? Doppelganger. Unfazed by your panic or bafflement, Mr. Burgard reaches for a nearby candlestick phone. The mouthpiece is realistically macabre roosting bat designed to make it seem like he's clutching a live pipistrelle, shoving it against the cavern that is his giant mouth.
Noticeably.
We're done here. You can show them now. On the other end of the line, a reply is chirped. A boy hands you the phone and motions you to listen in. His pure white teeth smile looks wide enough to tear his cheeks at the seams. Except the phone. You gingerly seize the occult antique. It takes you a few tries to grasp how the winged mammal is meant to be held, and even longer to hold the earpiece to your head. By the time you figured it out, you wish you hadn't. Two-way glass at the back suddenly turns transparent, revealing yet another room filled with aesthetic contradictions and logical anomalies. Your first urge is to scream, but your voice makes no sound. Perhaps your cries are deafened by whatever the fuck is going on. You stand before what seems to be a hospital operating room. The walls are adorned with a mix of dark wood panels. The walls are adorned and surmounted stag heads, bathed in the sterile glow of circular fluorescent lamps. Far back you see the silhouettes of two surgeons toiling away behind a curtain, carving apart the skulls of their fully conscious, unsedated patients. You want to look away, but you can't even blink. There's just too much to take in. There's the patients themselves. There's the surgeons' tools. There's the televisions hanging from the ceiling. Then there's the woman taking notes. The muffled sounds of saws slicing through bone threaten to make you throw up, but instead you feel your heart sink into that pit of nausea and realize something truly chilling. You recognize two of the people in that room. Look more closely at the clipboard-wielding lady. Sensing your stare through the glass, the woman turns around, details leap out, one at a time, making the pit of your stomach sink deeper. A hair bun, a tight smile, spread too wide, exhausted eyes, bulging and bloodshot pupils shrunk to tiny pinpricks. Melusine. After Emiliano attacked you, you believed the man was insane, but now watching that receptionist smile without blinking, tears brimming in her eyes and bloodstains wetting her clothes, Aguilar's mental breakdown makes more sense to you than ever. As if to prove your point, the loudest of the two patients screams at you for help.
Ame temoku.
You, please tell them I'll change. Tell them I'll do better. Just don't let them replace me. Melusine, I'm begging you. You can't do this to me. I have a fam. His words are cut off by gurgling spasms. His eyes roll back into their sockets as the surgeon, silhouette behind him, cuts something inside his head. Blood and brain splatters the curtain, hiding the worst of the scene. The sounds of squelching meat and bones still carry over the receiver. Yet it's the other, calmer patient's voice that truly makes you nauseous. He doesn't just look like Emiliano, he sounds like him. Exactly like him.
Bonematico.
You, please tell them I'll change, tell them I'll do better. Just don't let them replace me. The clerk's face remains impassive, even as his exposed brain is prodded at with a hand crank drill. Yet the imitation of his neighbour's blood-curdling cries is perfect. Every nuance, every pause for breath, reenacted down to the finest detail. Better than any audio recording could ever imagine. More immaculate a simulacra than any man or machine could ever be capable of. It's so perfect, in fact, that you're no longer certain which is the real Emiliano.
Kimaletoba.
Hey, Melusine, what was that? Am I laying the accent on too thick? Seems fine to me, but I'd recommend letting your voice crack once in a while. It's been known to happen when Mr. Aguilar is heavily inebriated, considering his drinking disposition. That particular nuance will come up quite frequently.
Ame temoku.
Gotcha. I'll give it another go. Hey pal, can you give me some fresh material to rehearse?
Zutenafoi.
You're all a bunch of psychos. Motherfucking heartless psychos. Emilio sobs and howls himself raw, retching as the surgeon hacking his cerebellum induces full body spasms. The other Emiliano merely clears his throat before howling much the same.
Zutenafoi.
Oh god.
Ame temoku.
How about that? Bit better? Considerably. I'll notify the post-op technicians to implant a few speech impediment-inducing memories and apply brain damage relative to Mr. Aguilar's alcoholism. That should iron out the last of the neurophysical kinks. The other Emiliano gives a firm thumbs up, leaning back to enjoy his lobotomy with the look lackadaisy indulgence of an expert's barber's scalp massage. Melusine's face turns to glass, her wide smile pulled painfully taut. She looks at you with tears and mascara streaking down her face, her grin seeming to cause more pain than the other patient's cerebral surgery. Was there anything else you needed to see, Mr. Burgard?
Bonica.
No thank you, dear. That'll be all. Just wanted our new hire to get a better idea of the daily grind. Oh, but do let me know if we need to make adjustments to mediatic nutrition, will you? I'll be on standby. With a curt nod, the receptionist turns her back. You hear a click, then a dial tone, and the phone's ceaseless screaming abruptly cuts off. Across the glass, Emiliano thrashes with all his might, the sound of his screeching muted once again. So, what do you think? Tend to be calm and courteous so you can figure out what the hell is happening. You studied childhood trauma enough to know the explosive reactions incite abusers to commit further violence. Even though it almost kills you, you keep your voice as steady as possible, expressing mild surprise and even milder confusion about the absolute nightmare unfurling before you. Mr. Burgard looks as pleased as punch by your polite interest. A seismic laughter creeps up his cavernous throat as he gestures to the two Emilianos.
Notice Samini.
I'm glad you're coming to this with an open mind. Most recruits get surprisingly antsy at this stage of the proceedings. What you see here is the most common and most heavily patented human resource service Smyrna Corp provides. We replace troublesome members of society with specially trained lab-raised actors that will live more efficient lives in our target's place.
Gawona Kimo.
What's more, we've performed today's processes all according to your specifications. Your specifications? You had nothing to do with this. Unperturbed by your protests, Burgard motions to the silhouetted surgeons currently picking at both Emiliano's wet and naked craniums.
Ome Baden.
At first, as standard procedure, we have our doppelgangers undergo extensive surgeries. This ensures their size and appearance matches their target. However, we also perform highly precise neural excisions and hormonal dosing sessions to ensure both replacement and replacee have identical synaptic pathways. This means they'll share the same tastes, reflexes, and handicaps wherever applicable.
Gawona Kimo.
Furthermore, as per your suggestion, I've encouraged our surgeons to physically excise all sections of the brain unrelated to workplace performance. I'm not entirely sure if that's how those so-called firewalls are supposed to work for computers, but either way, our doppelganger should only know obedience and thus never disobey. After completing his bleak announcements with a showman's tone, Giant pulls the device on his desk. Its myriad cables run along the floor, on their way through slits in the two-way glass, connecting to a flashing televisions hanging above the patient's faces.
Gawona Kimo.
Next, we bombard our subjects with doctored historical information and falsified childhood memory footage to rewrite their lived experience with those. This will erase all problematic attitudes and deduce more desirable proclivities.
Kudo Bijaji.
This also extends to the teaching of new morals or religious beliefs, which you suggested should be done to treat extreme societal cases. And while Mr. Aguilar held some rather distasteful political views on the core of his character, rest assured, we've replaced them with better values which align nicely with the company's interests. Jesus Christ! What are we doing here? With an empathic flourish, Obuya tweaks another one of his machine's many knobs. Television screen flickers, replacing its gruesome slideshow of warfare footage with pictures of a pastoral farm. The latter Emiliano squirms, then screeches. Finally, the tweed behemoth nods to Melusine. The eyes glance between both her patients, taking notes. Whichever one imitates the other. Two are becoming increasingly impossible to tell apart.
Kudo Bijaji.
Last but not least, Miss St. Sains arguably has the most important task of all, quality assurance. You see, our procedure is human, not mechanical. Instinct trumps algorithm when it comes to understanding people. Thus, it's imperative for staffers with an eye for social cues to study the effects of non-sedated lobotomies, particularly during back and forth exchanges between target and replacement. This allows us to adjust mediatic nutrition quickly and to identify overlooked flaws in body language, voice modulation, or personality. All this ensures our doppelgangers perform their jobs correctly.
Kudo Bijaji.
Hi, Stags! How are you doing? Which is why I've also taken inspiration from your commitment to sorting out this whole family murdering business. Melusine has been encouraged to wipe out any trace of bloodshed-related hesitation we'd normally keep vestigial remnants of. I assumed this to be appropriate, since your answer implied corporate results matter more than human lives. Oh god, holy shit, he wasn't lying. You may not have pulled the trigger, but you did help him load the gun. You reel from the weight of your revelation. Obuya holds up 3 fingers. One by one, he casts them down.
Ome Baden.
Physical rewiring, psychological reconditioning, social reintegration. These are the pillars upon which Smyrna Corp's substitution services are built. This is how we guarantee that the tens of thousands of doppelgangers currently deployed to the public perform exactly as they must. It's how our company has controlled the course of human civilization for years upon years, steering it in whatever direction our executives deem right. It's how the right people have shown up at the right times and the right places. How the wrong items or ideas have never appeared at inopportune occasions It's how you will help us do our job, regardless of which department you are ultimately assigned to. Hey, Stacks. I'm glad you're fine. What are you cooking?
Notice a mini.
So, are there any further questions about your new job's responsibilities? Why didn't my aunt tell me about this? The only logical explanation is that she didn't know this kind of insanity was occurring at her workplace. After all, women can definitely be a little heartless, but she wouldn't stoop to getting you a job torturing people just to get her rent money, would she?
Kudo mijaji.
I'm afraid your aunt was very aware of the procedures we conduct here. She's undergone one herself, after all. It's part of what makes her such an exceptional recruiter. But please don't resent her for keeping such sensitive information confidential. To borrow an expression, you have many fingers shoved quite deep into a surprising amount of pies. The Tweed Behemoth spreads his arms, taking up a dramatic stance. His muscular limbs cast a vast, all-consuming shadow, much like the one his company must cast over the world.
Gawona kimo.
Societies, you see, are merely sets of rules, meant to control select populaces, enforced by means of moral codes and legislative threats. Histories are naught but narratives parading as objective fact, deterministically controlling the future by redefining the past. Economies are broad equations engineered to establish hierarchies and restrict freedoms indirectly. Our missive is to alter the evolution of all of these entities, everywhere in the world, for the betterment of our species. This can mean overturning governments with silent revolutions, establishing or destroying businesses to reroute the flow of wealth, even altering history in ways that force us to reinterpret the present.
Gawona kimo.
All the world's a stage, men and women merely players, but Smirnocorp is the playwright, recasting actors at every role. Today, your role has been decided too, and if you care to keep a roof over your head, you should refrain from delivering a disappointing performance. Giant's index finger prods your chest as he speaks. Each tap is like a bullet thudding against a Kevlar vest. Hey Rad, how you doing? We're in corporate hell. Across the mirror, Emiliano screams as though he felt those gunshots too. His cry is an ode to the dark future which awaits you. A future of perpetual, inescapable servitude. Need money. Agree to work here until you've saved enough to quit. The thought of helping these monsters make you sick, but turning down the offer means you'll end up on the street. Thus you promise Burgard to work hard and do better than Emiliano, for now.
Notice a mini.
You're not doing at all. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you can relax and feel better. Wonderful, but be advised, you'll need to perform very well for a very long time if you intend your time with us to be temporary. After all, we've already signed our first contract. And the strictest clauses do not expire anytime soon. The one you shook that you thought was bleeding. Looking at your palm, you realize the hunch was fully justified, because something did pierce it. There's a lump beneath the skin, a small, subtle, rectangular protrusion you hadn't noticed until now. Probably because it wasn't flashing, let alone making such an obnoxious sound. Oh god. Beep, beep, beep. You're playing some Pokemon to distract me from the lack of doing. I understand. I hope that you can have fun. This, my friend, is what we refer to as a non-disclosure microchip. A brand new addition to our confidentiality policy, specially designed by our future partners at Radium Inc. It serves as an ID to access our offices, but also as an employee loyalty failsafe. Should you ever emit brain activity associated with treason, unauthorized divulgation of confidential data, or any such nasty business, the chip will emit a warning signal. Should the warning go unheeded, a lethal dose of Borodinium-210 will be discharged, a nigh untraceable radiotoxic isotope capable of inducing total organ shutdown within seconds. Jesus fucking Christ, this game! Wow. Oh, man! Final game in your Gen 1 Pokemon collection gets delivered today. Nice! Which one is it? Is it yellow? The best one. In other words, unless you care to experience a particularly messy demise, I suggest you remain on your best behavior until you die of natural causes. You've acquired non-disclosure microchip. The microchip starts bleeping faster till it matches the determined tempo of your beating heart. No telling which of the two is about to explode first. The signal is interrupted by Mr. Burgard tisking as he checks his belt-sized watch.
Come baden.
Dear me, seems I lost track of time. Other appointments beckon. I'm afraid our meeting is at an end. You'd better return home and get plenty of rest. You'll need it for your onboarding.
Kudo mijaji.
Oh, please don't make the mistake of thinking you can run away and never return, I hear you left college when things became unpleasant. And that same exit strategy is not an option here. You and any doppelganger we assign to replace you shall forever be a member of the Smyrna Corp family. Disheartening as it may seem, I recommend keeping a stiff upper lip. Being trapped for all eternity is much nicer if you approach it with a go-getter attitude. Holy fucking shit, this game. As Abuya chuckles, an elevator door screeches open behind you. The open shaft greets you like the gaping maw of a deep-sea fish. You glance between the open door and your manager, wondering if it's really safe to leave. But by the time the behemoth gives you a cheeky wink, you're already making a run for it. Your fingers mash every single button on the keypad's confusing display, hoping some combination will get you as far as possible. Eventually the grillage gate slams shut, floor lurches upwards, and Mr. Burgard waves goodbye, speaking the most chilling words you've heard all day.
Gabona kimo.
See you tomorrow. Beep, beep. The microchip's alarm slows to a crawl as all your hopes and dreams die a slow, whimpering death. Congratulations, you're hired. Chapter complete. Proceed to the nervous breakdown. Oh my god. Holy shit. Holy shit, chat. This game. Every game we've played tonight has been an absolute banger, but this one. Oh my word, is it something else? It is something else, chat. Holy shit. Holy shit. I think that's me for the night, man, after all that. That's it's just a text adventure. It's just a text adventure. What the fuck? You decided, wait, there's a glitch in blue where you can get a level 100 Gengar? I thought you could only get Gengar through trading. Man. I am a little bit tired. I've been super tired since this afternoon. I had a really nice nap. And then I woke up and streamed. It's been a big day. We've done a lot today. I had a big gym session. I did a bunch of housework. I cooked really nice food, which I'm very happy about. And yeah, trading and glitches. Like how you can get the Mew as well. Oh, you got level 100 Nidoking? That's cool as hell. I can't stop yawning. I'm tired, lady. Wow.